which is why when you want to improve relationships, this brings us to the larger point here that we want to flesh out, and that is that you want to get in the category of can do no wrong. See, there are people in our lives that put in the category of can do no right and can do no wrong. You want to be in the category of can do no wrong. And the way to get into that, we're going to get to probably maybe next Motzi Shabbos. But for now, return to the original conversation about focusing on positive. Remind yourself that by looking for the good, you're going to see the good. You're going to construct the good, and you're going to live in a different world. It's not about looking through rose-colored glasses, by the way. People very often say, oh, so fine, I'm just, putting a positive spin. It's not about that. You'll actually see things that would otherwise have gone unnoticed. For example, take somebody who is a sophisticated wine consumer. That's certainly not myself, but somebody who understands wines. They will taste something in the wine. They will enjoy the wine in a way that I could not, and unsophisticated consumers could not as well. Coffee, the same thing. You have people who are coffee aficionados. They understand the different tastes and the flavors and whether it's bold or this. And I do have, some preferences, but certainly not to the depth of somebody who really understands it. And that's because their knowledge increases their awareness of it. So our ability to look for the good, to see the good, to appreciate the good is what will allow for us to have a transformative relationship with people. So the next time you enter into conversation with somebody, again, have in mind something we touched on last Motzi Shabbos. Just have in mind that you're going to be looking for the good. Take a few minutes to frame your thinking. Focus on the positive, the virtues, the mileage of this person. It's so easy to focus on the negative. And there's something called negativity bias where we're more inclined to focus, actually 7 times more likely to focus on the negative than on the positive. And it does take wiring to rise above our nature, but that's our jobs. Our job is not to give in to our nature, it's to rise above our nature. And the ego, the Yetzer Hara, loves to put people into categories. It loves to judge and to narrate. By the way, just the reason it does that is because we can feel more secure if we're able to label, to categorize, to blame, to justify, to sort of explain away everything that goes on in our world, which is why there's one of the defense mechanisms, the way the ego has to protect itself, is like this. You hear about somebody dies in an auto accident, and you find out that they weren't wearing the seatbelt, right? That gives you a warped sense of solace because now you can explain, you can understand why it happened. Right? The ego it needs to be able to take this infinite world and sort of compartmentalize it into things that we can easily understand. And we can't. Many things are beyond our understanding, which is where B'tzakin comes in, different conversation. But back to our original conversation about appreciation and about looking for the good and expecting to see the good. Let me share with you, we'll end with this, a short story. Somebody was, couple of days ago, the balabus is, the gabbai, the outdoor shul, lovely guy, terrific guy. We wrap things up, and I said, maybe give a shout out to the young boy, the bacher, maybe 13, 14, who laned. And he said, no, he lanes here all the time. He lanes here, throughout the week. I didn't know this because it was the first time I was at this particular minyan. And I went over to him afterwards. I said, why does it matter that he always lanes? The fact that he always does something, why does that diminish our need to go ahead and to acknowledge it? Sometimes we think if somebody does something magnificent, and sure, the first time he laned, everyone probably said, yeah, Yashar, great job. Second time, third time, it dissipates. Shouldn't it be the other way around? Shouldn't it be the more somebody extends themselves, the more they do something, the more we want to show our appreciation and acknowledge it? Yet we get used to it. And if you think about all the good, all the beautiful things that people around us do for us on a daily basis, it becomes rote, it becomes normal, and it sort of falls in the category of expectancy and entitlement. But you can transform your relationships by reminding yourself that nobody has to gotta. My father, Ola Shalom, used to say that. Nobody has to gotta. Nobody has to do something. It doesn't have to be this way. The fact that they do it is beautiful, and acknowledge it. And it makes you want to do it more. When somebody says to you, Yashar, great job, amazing, that was beautiful, genuinely so, it makes you want to give more, it makes you want to do more. Whether it's our spouse, whether it's our children, whether it's our rabbi, coworker, friend, neighbor, it doesn't make a difference. If they do it once or they do it 10,000 times, acknowledge the good. And the only way you're going to be able to acknowledge it is if you focus on it. Look for the good and you're going to find the good.